Hey, and welcome to your Sagittarius horoscopes for the first week of the year, starting today, New Year's Eve, all ready to go. Ending on January 6th, the Mercury retrograde is in Sagittarius at this point, but it is over on the 2nd. We do have that shadow period for about a week, so technically it's completely over next Tuesday, but the actual retrograde part is over pretty early on this week. We have Venus in Sagittarius currently right now. Mars is in Sagittarius pretty much for most of the week and then moves on into Capricorn by the end of the week. So we are kind of losing that influence. Focus really is on finances and long-term financial goals specifically. And we have a couple of things going on here. First of all, a square between Venus and Saturn going on here. What's interesting about this, not to say that all Sagittarians do this, but I have heard a Sagittarian or two do this. When it comes to your financial goals, it's really important to own your responsibility in things. And I feel like with Saturn focused on those that support you, this is actually a very common excuse for a lot of people, not just Sagittarians, but a lot of people, where any kind of interference from other people is an excuse to say, well, I tried and I failed because these people just won't get on board with me and help me out. And this happens a lot. I've done it. I've done it like a bazillion times. I'm not a Sagittarius. I think everybody does it to a certain extent. It's not obviously helping. If you haven't met your goals yet, chances are coming up with these excuses, specifically using other people as those excuses, really isn't helping. It's also kind of unfair to those other people that you're putting that responsibility on them, if that makes sense. Also, Mercury is involved in a square with Neptune, which is very much focused on inner trauma and the things that you have created with that trauma for your own self-preservation. And a lot of these things are not necessarily healthy for you. At least they're not going to promote growth in any way. We tend to actually use these things as excuses as to why we can't move forward. I've been talking recently about something that I saw on Facebook actually a few years ago, which I cracked up when I saw because it's so true. And there is a statute of limitations on what you can blame on your parents or your childhood trauma or what have you. There has to be a statute of limitations on that. I mean, at some point you have to take control and you have to take responsibility for your life, regardless of what happened in your youth. Yes, maybe you weren't taught. That doesn't mean that you can't learn on your own. So therefore, let's work on releasing that blame in our lives. The truth is, we all sustain trauma on different levels and in different ways. Using it as an excuse doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. And that's really how we need to look at it. Now, Mercury, oh, I thought Mercury was in a trine with something that was helpful, but it's not. However, Mars is, as it's leaving your sign, it is leaving your sign in a trine with Uranus, because it's picking up on that earth influence there very, very close, as Uranus is in Taurus in an earth sign. Actually, this is more of a grand sextile because we also have Saturn involved in this as well. Now, Saturn's causing a complication, but then comes in to be helpful. In terms of your long-term goals, I think it's really important when we're talking about a support system, we want to be talking about the right support system. First of all, if this is your long-term financial goals we're talking about, you don't want just some friend that's not really good with money supporting you in that. I mean, clearly that's not a good idea. You want a financial planner. You want somebody who is going to support those specific goals. Yes, you have to pay for them, but if it works, it's worth it, right? And money makes the world go round. If you want to draw money to you, you have to release it to the proper channels also. So this is really about eliminating some of those old excuses, but also implementing certain systems that are now going to be helpful from here on out, rather than continuing with the same old patterns that have continued to get in your way over and over and over again. So that's what I have for you guys this week. A lot going on because there is still a party going on in Sagittarius in terms of so many planet influences being in there, but not necessarily in a bad way either. It really does depend on how you look at it. That's what I have for you guys. If you love your horoscopes, do consider clicking on the link in the description and sending a tip or donation through my coffee link. I would really appreciate that. I really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. That's it. That's what I got. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. You guys, I know you can do it, man. Nobody can rock it like you can. So make it a great week, and I will see you guys next week, maybe even next year. Have a great one, you guys.